Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, From Tax Data to Credit Scores. Before we begin, just would like to extend a special invitation to Open Finance 2050. It's our 7th edition FinTech event taking place on June 11th and 12th at the St. Regis Hotel in Mexico City. It will bring together FinTech industry leaders, banks, startups, and regulators to discuss the future of open finance in the region. In addition, you have until February 23rd to take advantage of our 40% off offer. Simply visit www.openfinance.com and use loyal OF40 for a discount. Don't miss it. So let's begin. It's great to welcome this group of FinTech innovators and financial inclusion advocates who are joining us to explore how tax data is revolutionizing SME lending across the region. In Latin America, millions of small and medium enterprises are driving the economic growth, but yet they struggle to access credit they need to expand. Traditional risk assessment models, they often overlook these businesses due to a lack of formal credit history. But today we're seeing a shift. And one of those aspects of the shift is where tax data, especially from the platforms like the Mexico SAT, the tax authority, is becoming a powerful tool to bridge this gap. So today we'll dive into how lenders can leverage these tax records, electronic invoices, and alternative data sources to be able to better assess SME risk and improve the loan accessibility. So thank you for joining us, and let's get started. First of all, I would like for our two guests to introduce themselves. Maybe we'll start with Eres, with you, please.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me today to join this interesting webinar and to be part of it. As a short introduction, my name is Erez. I'm originally from Israel, from Tel Aviv, coming from a background of technology, with a Bachelor of Science and in Data Science, and then MBA from Tel Aviv University. Started CRiskCo 10 years ago, a credit risk community where we enable and assist lenders, credit providers, big retailers, how to manage risks and credit for SMBs and business persona around the world. Today, we operate in the US, Israel, Australia, and Mexico, where in the recent years, we made Mexico our primary market and grew exponentially in Mexico. And we serve today leaders in the market like American Express, Dun & Bradstreet, and many other players in the market. Thank you for having me.
Great, thanks, Eres. Mario, please, if you don't mind, introduce yourself and your spot in the industry.
You're on mute.
Sorry for that. Thank you, Yuri. Thank you, Eres. I am Mario Hernandez, CEO and co-founder of Finvero. Finvero is the first LATAM lending marketplace where we connect lenders to shoppers at the point of sale, now also in some of the verticals like mortgages and auto loans. And well, we want to share with you today what we could do together for the better in the ecosystem, where I don't know, Eres and Yuri, what you guys think, but I think there is the three of us, we are foreigners, no, living and working for Mexico, and we really think, correct me if I'm wrong, that there is tons of opportunity to be done in financial inclusion. No?
Thank you, Mario. Yeah, we're the three foreigners working on financial inclusion in Mexico, both for consumers and CRiskCo for SMEs. And so this leads me to my first question. So to Eres, what are the challenges that you see that the SMEs face in securing traditional lending, and how the evolving technology is helping to address these challenges.
Sorry. So yes, I'm happy to answer on the question. SMBs is struggling today to get access to data and information, and basically to finance based on it. We see that 75% of small medium businesses do not have access to credit or not have sufficient access to credit, where the other 25% receive it in a long financial headache and challenges. We see approval of the line of credit takes 3 to 6 weeks, sometimes 3 to 6 months in some cases. In many cases, there's no transparency or visibility into the process, where you get a simple yes or no in the end without any call for action after. Like, what does it mean? No. Can I get access to credit next year, or what do I need to change? Like, the market today is very tough on this one. What we have here an opportunity that's using technology and using the SAT data or tax information, not just from the SAT, but also from different sources, can create a much easier process. First of all, getting access to the information is a reliable standard set of data. And second, the ability to underwrite and make recommendation to the business. Once, giving more businesses access to credit based on performance and not based on social interview, social impact, or who do I know, what's my connections. And second, give recommendation and clear visibility on what needs to be done in order to improve my position, and to improve my credit access, and to improve the process I need to do. What do I need to do in my business to get access to more capital in the end? And it brings me to the immediate question that maybe not everybody understand. What does it mean, tax data? What does it mean? Do I have tax information that is relevant or not relevant? What's the connection? And I'll give you something that is recently done. As you probably heard, Trump raised the tariffs on steel and aluminum by 25% around the world, including for Mexico. Now, it's a very interesting piece of news, but does it affect us in the financial market, and does it affect small businesses or businesses in Mexico? And what we can see from the tax information, that is, people don't understand it. We can see in the tax information every item category that is being sold. And we can see today that immediately we have over 30% of businesses in Mexico sell or buy product that's connected to steel and aluminum. So that's first, it does have a big impact on the Mexican market. Second, we identified that 2.7% of businesses in Mexico have over 1 billion pesos in revenue or purchases in the current year regarding items of steel and aluminum, meaning that for those businesses, 2.7% of the businesses in Mexico, it might have a significant impact on their performance in the industry. And that's, again, a popular example I'm bringing from the recent weeks that you can explore and get from the data. And if I'm a business owner who's applying for credit, and my lender, the provider of the credit, do not know if I'm using steel or not using steel, it will put me in a different position from credibility perspective. So even in this small example, it's very clear that using this data can give you a lot of information and insights on the business behavior, performance, and can give me the ability to provide a smart decision much faster. Does it make sense?
No, it makes total sense. So if you go back to the question you posed, what exactly is tax data? So we're talking about the financial statements, we're talking about the VAT invoices. What are some of the components of this tax data specifically that CRiskCo in particular, and maybe some other lenders may be looking at to assess the creditworthiness of the applicant?
Perfect. So, as the CEO of CRiskCo and also as the president of Pimes Capital, our new company, it's formed 2 years ago, that's actually provide MCA financing to lenders. I have two hats, like I'm the underwriter, but also we actually provide our own fund in some cases. I saw firsthand how tax and accounting data change decisions, support decision, also help provide credit, and I'll map what we have. The data you can get from SAT, first of all, is all the transactions. So invoices, sales or purchases, payments, of course, sales and purchases as well, profit and loss and balance sheet for the past 3 years. We can get all the customer ledgers and all the supplier ledgers. So we know the entire network of business this applicant is working with, who is their clients, who is their suppliers. The depths we can get is we're not just checking who are they, but we can check which locations they are. Are they US-based customers? Are they different regions in Mexico or Latin America? What's the concentration risk? How much I'm selling to one client? How much I take to the top 5 clients? So all this information is available from the SAT data and is reliable and accurate until 72 hours ago. So it's real-time financials I can get access to and create a very full and interesting pictures of the business. But if you go down to the details, how can I get details to change decision? And maybe I prepared some numbers if we can share them on the screen and we can see them. So, for example, there's great, thank you very much. So there's 2 parameters that everybody knows, okay? The basic parameters when you go into a company and you know the age of the company and the size. What's the turnover? How much money they're running through the system every year? And here you can see a 2 parameters table that's talking about the time the business is been doing below 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 10 to 20, and above 20 years business, and the size of the business. If it's a micro business like moms and pop shops, a very, very small business, medium size, and enterprise deal structure. And the percentage represent the delinquency rate. So what's the chances of, let's take the first left top core breaks. What's the chance of a business which is less than 5 years old, who's also a moms and pop shops, what's their likelihood to be delinquent? And basically it's 12.6%. So it's a high number, or depends on how to see high and low, but this is the number. Now, if you look at the entire low below 5 years, you can see that the delinquency rates of an enterprise and a small business are very extremely similar, like almost the same on below 5 years from the time perspective. So that's one example. We can say that if a business is below 5 years, the risk is high, relatively. And it doesn't matter the size. However, if we go to businesses beyond above 20 years, we see a dramatic improvement of the delinquency rates, but the enterprise went down to less than 1%. We did 1% just for the roundup, but it's less than 1% likelihood of delinquency, where the micro and small businesses are still around the 7% likelihood of delinquency. So it might change completely your risk assessment and your ability to make decisions based on only those 2 parameters, those 2 features. Now, it gets a very interesting picture that's it's not instantly correct. When we ask ourselves before we did the mathematics and running the analytics, what will be the result? We didn't expect to see those kind of numbers, and the data shows us different pictures from what we can get. But those are only 2 features. When we talk about tax data, and thank you for the numbers, we can take them off now. When we talk about the number of features we take into decisioning, we're talking for over 70 parameters. So if you think about this table, not in 2 dimensions, but 70 dimensions, the complexity of making the right decision and understanding the probability of default of every business is much harder. And actually, it's harder for a person to do it by himself. So we're using models and we're using AI to come and help us in this case. And what does it mean? It means that the AI can generate large scale 70, 80, 90 parameters risk assessments. can also recommend us how to change those features, and more important, can update the weights and the risk assessment based on changes in the behavior. And if I connect it to the previous example we talked before on the steel and aluminum, if you are a producer or using a lot of steel and selling it to the US, your risk went high 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. And we need to embed this risk into this process and into the risk assessment. For us or for banks, when they do it manually, it takes 6 months to 12 months to update decisioning model. With
Right.
AI, you can do it almost instantly, in a matter of days or weeks, and every month update your risk models as you go further. I think this is the main change, and this is the main insights and benefits you can get from tax data when we talk about SMB underwriting and business underwriting.
It's an interesting table. I would not have thought that the micro enterprises under 5 years old would have a similar default rates to enterprise size businesses, actually, and both below the small and medium. So, let's jump to the next point. I have a question for Mario. So we know from your intro that Finvero offers credit solutions that cover the entire credit life cycle, from origination to collection. So could you tell us, please, how the user experience has evolved with the digitization of credit process, and what's the role of AI and alternative data in the decision making when it comes to lending?
Perfect, Yuri. So, well, first we were born at the point of sale in the middle of the pandemic, so we had to be somehow creative, no? Because in some way we had the pressure of the retailer asking us for a very fast origination process, no? So we had to do this onboarding with some of the aspects that already Ares mentioned, no? We had to do I would start with the alternative analysis, first on a fraud perspective, then on a capacity of payment, where I'm going to show you in a minute a graph that we saw yesterday, and this was payment capacity, no? After that it was not a fraudster, or the possibility of being a fraudster at the point of sale, either an e-commerce or a physical store, was, you know, was very low. No, that he was not a fraudster. It was not zero, but it was very low that he could be or behaving like a fraudster. And then finishing with this first point that you asked, Judy, I would tell you in less than 6 minutes, we do all of this process with alternative data that I will tell you guys in a minute. And then we had to not only to do the onboarding process, signing electronically with NOM 151 here in Mexico, with the local norm, but also having the disbursement of the loan to the account of the borrower, no? Also with the best option available for this shopper, no? So that was quite a challenge. There is no other player doing something similar at the point of sale. And well, for the second question, how do we do this on a data perspective? Well, first on the fraud topic, I would say, well, we see, for example, some behavior that I could mention is what is the age of the device or applicant is using. What also is the age of the email and the services that he's or she's subscribed to. Because if we see, this is 1 day old line and 1 day old device and 1 day old email, and there is only one service associated to the email, that looks like something that I don't know if that was created for this. And well, after that, if that's correct, and there is no fraud patterns or fraud behavior, then we go to the risk capacity, where I'm going to show you here, for example, a model we saw yesterday on capacity payment here. Let me show you. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Can you see my screen here? Okay, great.
It is here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So here you can see on the y-axis the model, the potential model error, and on the x-axis you can see the payment capacity. No, so you can see the density of the dots here by something like 300 and 400. And that capacity of payment, for example, we could be targeting some specific type of applicants, no, so that we get a balance between the performance of the model, of this, in this case, the payment capacity model, and the target we're looking for. No, so this is what we do on a daily basis, with ML, that these days is this is a very old, correct me, Eres and Yuri, this is a very old topic, but these days trendy, no? But since, well, I will go to the old days of Turing, no? But Sam Altman and Elon Musk 10 years ago co-founded OpenAI, no? So now it seems like these days this is a new thing that will revolutionize all industries, especially the one we are, Eres and me, no? So, and Yuri. So, well, this is just an example of how ML can be used on a model use case, and what we would say is we invite you all, as Eres was saying, to be participating into this, because this is a breakthrough. There is no manual approach to a vintage on, correct me, Eres, not on a SME segment, or where we are on a retail segment. No, there is no no way any manual team, any human team can perform better than an ML, as we said, no, with the data, the correct data, because this is maybe somehow ML these days can be overrated, since I would say AI cannot do anything without a certain volume of big data or data that is already pre-clean before we process the data. No, so I don't know if I answered your questions.
Yeah, just as a follow-up, do you guys, and maybe that's a question for both of you, do you see AI and machine learning as a main tool in analyzing credit quality, or it is a tool that supports maybe a credit officer? I understand that the business in consumer lending, where the customer is at the point of sale, is a bit different, where you have to make a decision in literally less than a minute, so the customer could use the loan right that moment. But and so the involvement of a credit officer that in each specific decision may not be such a welcome thing, but in creating the model and the parameters, what do you, when you determine who is a credit-worthy applicant, how do you see that, both of you, the human interaction with the machine learning AI capabilities? Whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, please, Eres.
Sure, happy to jump in. So that's a great question, and thank you for that. And I think it's a very important question for the future to understand how we're going to replace the people, the credit officers. Is there going to be a job for the credit officers, or we're talking about a fully automated system that's going to provide loan and debt and collect, and everything is fully automated? My belief, and this is why I'm working in this field and I want to progress and grow it, that all the ML and AI tools are to support the risk officers and the credit officers and to help them get a better decision. Now, you can delegate some decisioning. For example, let's say that you work on a range of providing different financing deals, and you're saying that there's up to 50,000 pesos I can approve automatically because I have enough data and I'm strong enough to do it automatically. Okay, that's a decision the credit officers can do and can let it, and he needs to monitor and see if the decision is okay and the performance are okay. Because if the performance are not okay, then he can step in and say, okay, we're not doing it automatically anymore. We do need to have manual intervene in the end to make a decision. But that's the power of the credit officers to control how much manual, how much automated do you want to have the system. On the other side, on the processing and preparation of the data, what we've seen is a lot of outsourcing of these processes even before we came in or the ML came into the system. We saw banks asking one outsourced companies to be the tellers, to talk to the client and try to get all the financials beforehand. Then sending it to a second outsourced company, could be in Mexico, Argentina, India, all over the world, that's processing the information. Take it from PDFs to Excel, from the Excel to do the spreading and the risk assessment and the ratios calculation. So the credit officers, when he's getting the information, he's getting already processed and chewed and ready to make a decision. The ML and the AI is coming at this point. Like we're doing fast processing, cheap processing. We need to remember that reducing the cost by 80 to 90% allows you to have more applicants coming in and process them quicker and cheaper and to be able to do the same financing deal. So if I used to do 2 deals a day, I can do 2 deals a day today, but I can process 200 applicants and not 2 applicants or 4 applicants and to approve 2. So I can choose better horses to bet, or basically I can choose better business to fund because I have access to more applications. Even in the future, as the ML by itself is getting stabilized and we have the fixed algorithm that we know that are working good and learning and progressing, we can use the AI or basically the LLM, the big language models, to basically run different models and to check and to improve them. So we use ChatGPT or one of the GPTs, including its, as long as it's not a Chinese one, we can use one of the GPTs and ask them, okay, can you run different models and is it better or worse? How can you compare different models? So we'll be able to use more and more tools to run the processing and to get us better. But it will only help us to get more volume, more applicants, funding more, and not less work, that's for sure. What we've seen from our clientele is we see an increase of 30 to 35% increase of number of applications approved, and a similar increase of the amount of credit they provide by moving from manual processing to automated processing in the first year. So it's a huge jump already in the first year, and there's more progress and automation can be done in the future. Hopefully it answered the question, and I will still encourage you, if you want to be a loan officer or a credit officer, still keep your study, keep your experience. You're going to have a job for the next few years. All good.
Learn AI. Yeah. What do you, What are your thoughts on this, Mario? Human versus machine?
Very aligned and with Ceres, and I would add that the last point you were making, Ceres, I think we have to maybe retrain our skills, no, because now these days it's not maybe about it's not maybe about in the coding team or the development team, product team of a company. Is not about that I'm the back end guy or the front end or the CX anymore. Is in the future we could be an all-terrain maker, and we could do all of these skills in one person. So maybe prompting could be much helpful than coding, for example, no? So and also, well, some of the tasks that I guess, no, ML or AI, particularly in lending, could really overperform. It could be, for example, the KYC analysis or the fraud detection on a broader perspective, on a algorithm based, no, so that you can have enhanced data analysis on vast volumes of data, whereas humans we cannot analyze that volume in so little time, no. So I guess we could really, for example, that's I would say, no, one specific feature we could really perform much better together with humans, as the question. And also, well, of course, I would say having agents assisting and specific contextualized agents with I would say, all the data of what's your behavior, what are your needs, no, because maybe some financial institutions, I would say specifically banks, has lost their mission how they were born 200 years ago, for example, no, where they were your counselor, they were your advisor for your personal finances, no, at the point in time where you needed their help, no. That is not there anymore. Is, I would say, very unpersonalized and very I would say personalization and digitation is not an opposite, no. And it could be done together, no. So and also, well, at the end of the day, for the question, particularly for Mexico, for the context of Mexico, I guess we all need the human touch, no. If we don't have the human touch, as we know, we will lose the customer, no. At the end of the day, here what we are looking for is that there is someone that is providing a great service, and at the end of the day, we are really well attended and very well satisfied by the service we're being provided. That's my 2 cents for the question.
Thank you. I think the thing you touched upon, the personalization of experience for the customer, connects us well to building a trust between the financial institution and the customer, be that a business or be that a consumer, and a great portion of that trust building has to do with cybersecurity. Yeah. So how can fintech companies and financial institutions in general build this trust with clients by ensuring the protection of the sensitive financial information? So you have, when it comes to businesses, it's confidential information. When it comes to individuals, it is personal data. What are the best practices? So this is a question to both of you. What are the best practices that you see that the fintech players employ to ensure security in digital credit platforms? because we're talking about digital. So people are sharing, or companies sharing their data digitally with someone who is out there to potentially extend them a loan. So what are those best practices that you guys see in the market, especially when it comes to Mexico?
Mario, you want to lead this one?
Thank you, Eres. So, well, this topic that you mentioned, Judy, I would say is critical. No, preventing data breaches is critical these days. We saw last year some data breaches and some security issues on large institutions or large financial institutions. So I think this is a more relevant topic than ever. No, so I would say, well, apart from the security standards, CRiskCo and Finvero we must comply with, and I would add something to CRiskCo because of what I think. Well, Eres comes from a background of cybersecurity from Israel, where they are the cradle of cybersecurity, and that's why he told me you first. No, so well, the thing is, I would say, with AI, taking the other topic that you mentioned, Judy, AI and particularly Gen AI, we can be potentially in advance of the fraudsters and the delinquencies, the data breaches that we can have from outside or inside. No, that is something we can go in advance to what may happen in the future. So this is something very interesting, but at the same time, the fraudster is got these tools, no? so it's raining for everyone. So the thing is, I think there is a point of inflection here with the new technology that we all have in hands for what is going to happen. So I guess it's a race for who is first using this state-of-the-art technology to protect their assets and as Judy said, the most important, the data of the clients. No. And please tell us. I want to listen to Eres on what.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Mario. And that's a great question you're asking, because first of all, I agree with everything Mario said. Like it's definitely an evolving space that we need to watch out very carefully and to understand what we can do. First of all, you can't do things without considering security of and securing your information, securing your client's information, and how to protect yourself. I think that there used to be a time that you can start a company or start to provide any kind of product without considering security first. But this time have passed. Today, once you connect to the internet, once you provide services, you've been attacked 1 second after. So there's no gap in the time between your launching and the fact that you are being attacked, and there's no company too small or operation too small to get attacked. And we saw last year, as Mario said, we saw a huge breach from an early stage company working with a credit bureau, and they're like the first year of operation and already half of their database being leaked to the market. So you can't run in an environment where you're not security first environment. We need to make sure that you are protected and you're protecting the client's data. That's very important. And we do have client sensitive information. I am coming from Israel and Tel Aviv, where the cybersecurity is booming right now. It's a huge movement there and exploding with different services, solutions, and ability to protect different assets in the cloud and on premise. And with the GPT's era, we have more complexity because we want to use the big models, but we cannot expose our data to the cloud or to different services. We need to keep it in our own private cloud or in our own on-premise solution. So those charges are coming in. But I would recommend some best practices just to start from. First of all, make sure that everyone is at least SOC 2 compliant. So it still have at least have a process that is determined how to handle leaks, how to handle encrypted data, how to handle sensitive information, and are able to report on it. In Mexico, there's a feeling that a lot of companies, organizations do not want to notify or to publish the fact that there's been a breach. But this is a standard in every advanced country that you need to alert for every breach of data that's happened in the market, because then we can learn from each other. And we have to learn from each other, because then you have a coalition of protecting good guys, let's say. The good guys protecting each other against fragile behavior. And if we don't report and publish it and help each other, then we are an easy target again and again. I think one of the things is make sure it's SOC 2 compliant. Second, a company that is responsible of publishing and have clear protocol of how do you publish penetration, how do you publish data loss, data breach, any problem that you might have, and how to avoid those in the future. And third, that sometimes people miss it. As the AI involves, we have more and more leaks that are being forged. So someone impersonated by voice or by emails or by text and is getting legitimate access to an unlegitimate space. So you need to make sure that the sensitive information is always encrypted. It's called encrypted address. So it's always encrypted. It's always, and you have 2 layers or 3 layers of protection that even if one layer has been breached, still to the sensitive information, there's no access from fragile behavior. We take it into very important measures, and we are a global company and we tested every 6 months. We've been tested by an external penetration test and external companies, making sure that we are not fully proof, but very good and secure company. And I urge everyone to make sure that they understand that risk is a priority when you're handling financial information, whenever you do it.
Thank you, Eres. I don't know if you, Mario, would you like to weigh in on this issue specifically? Again, just as a follow-up, what do you see on the side of Finvero or Finvero's clients? What are some of the measures that have been implemented to protect data, to preserve it, to enhance cybersecurity and mitigate the risks? What are your clients asking of you? What kind of standards are you required to have so that they feel better dealing with Finvero?
Perfect point. Well, first of all, we are certified ISO 27001. There is a new norm coming for this year. We are also certified for personal data protection. These days in Mexico, as you know, the entity is still, I guess, the INAI, until we are said something different. No, so we are, I would say, having all these customer data protection. Well, not only the data, but also the attributes on different angles. No, and I would say the following. No, there is a last year, and I guess this year is not very different. We saw in the market that quality of data, it's I would say a challenge for all organizations to have not only a data protection of the quality of the data, but also the quality of that data. No, so well, we are protecting with all the OWASP recommendations that there are 10 threats that are to be attended. So all of these are already attended. No, And also, we, from a fraud perspective on attacks, on cyber attacks, mostly on cloud, that is, I would say, let me show you something agnostic from the market in my screen here. I will show you my screen. This is really relevant from last year. Can you see my screen? Not yet, I guess. But well, the North American region is the largest intrusion cyber attack region in the world by 61%. So, and we, particularly Mexico, as we all know, is the country, is the test bed for the cyber detection. Here we go. This is how it looks like. So we might be at the edge or the state of the art of how we treat or potential data breaches and cyber attacks, as Yuri asked, for Mexico. No, Mexico is the test bed for many US and, correct me, Israel companies, correct me, Eres, as we are a very active cyber attack country in the world. No? I won't say the most active. I don't have that data, but you can see the figures here. No, so interesting how we have to outperform. No, and as Eres said, no, comparing Mexico to, for example, as you can see here, no, South America, nothing to do in terms of number of intrusions from this cybercrime perspective. No, so I just wanted to add this to the point.
Thank you. Since we don't have much time left, what I'll do is we have a couple of questions for our participants. So I'm going to start with the Eres, those questions that we received from the audience. So I'm going to read it out. How is CRiskCo innovating to offer more precise risk solutions in the context of digitization and open finance? And what trends will define the future of risk management in LATAM?
Perfect. Thank you for the question, for who brought it in. So what we do is, first of all, we do a streamline of information from the tax to your to our clients, to the lenders. So if it means getting the full picture of the tax information in matter of minutes to your UI, through our dashboard, or through an API to our clients, so they can actually take it into their decisioning model, if it's a automated decisioning model or a human credit officer is looking at it and make a decision. The streamline of this information makes it much easier to access. What we do, we don't just provide the raw data. We standardize everything, create the spreading, so the financial ratios, asset ratio, concentration ratio, Z-Altman score, all the financial ratios you want to achieve in order to make a decision. Everything is being consumed and populated to you, including in the same process. And in the end, we do provide a probability default. It's called our fin score. It's what's the probability of default of a specific company. The score is between 300 to 850, where 300 means the company might default in very, very high likelihood in the next 6 months. And 850 means the company is stable and going to be growthful and successful. And we're probably going to see it growing more significantly in the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay, thanks, Eres. And now I'll move to Mario. So we received a question for you. In the credit ecosystem that Finvero operates, the adoption of alternative data and AI tools is changing how customers' repayment capacity is evaluated. How has this evolution impacted the way Finvero collaborates with lenders to improve financial inclusion and decision-making?
Great. So I would say the most relevant impact that we've brought to the lending ecosystem, it might be having the invisible, or how we say here, the no-hit, the underserved, the subprime segment become visible with alternative data. And with this, not only the approval rates of our lenders have overperformed, but also the default rates, because at the end of the day, as we were saying, we need that the profits, that the business of our lenders is much better than it was before they met us. And the other thing is not only more profitable, but also a larger business, because we are seeing daily, that there is this lender that is issuing 150,000 credit cards a month, but they say, I don't find any additional customers, and I would love to grow my monthly base by 25%, so that I have 200K loans, new loans with credit cards on a monthly basis. So we help them to find these new blue oceans in the invisibles, in the subprimes, and also be aligned with the default rates. No, so this is basically our mission. No?
Thanks. So I'll move to the last topic I wanted to cover before we adjourn, is about the user experience. So we know this is a critical factor in digital onboarding, and even more critical when it comes to loan origination. We do know that the process needs to be seamless, with very little friction, which should hopefully result in better approval rates. There is a lot of talk in the fintech world of one-click onboarding as a gold standard. So how is this evolution that you guys are seeing in digital onboarding tools has improved this borrower lending experience? And what key innovations that you see out there making this experience even better? So I don't know, maybe we'll start with you, Eres, and then go on to Mario.
Sure, thank you. And I'll be short because I think that we have only 6 minutes. I'll try to be on time. First of all, I think that the user experience is the most important part. If we want to make sure that our lenders or the applicants are having an easy process, and also easy process, not just to do, but also to understand, because it is a scary process to do, and you want to make sure everything is calm, relaxed, and they understand what they're doing. What we were able to see, and that's not just us, from a variety of tools in the market, that we shortened the period of time for applying and receiving information and results. First of all, you don't have to have a client to ask him to send you information. Don't send me on WhatsApp your profit or loss. Don't send me an email. Don't send me PDF. Don't picture me. No, get into the website of the applicant or the app. There's put your SIEC, your RFC, allow us to connect for you. The AI, the machine basically will do everything for you. In 30 seconds, you're done, and you can continue with your business and focus on what you need to do, while the engine behind it is going to process everything. Today, our boarding process reduced our customers by 70 to 80% length of time of onboarding, and it takes roughly to 30 to 60 seconds to complete the onboarding. And talking about different clients, it's coming from questionnaires at the start, or just the connecting of the start. Even we have clients that's asking which POS you use, and connecting the POS and connecting the start. So it's still a more significant process, but still under 1 minute you can close the process and move on. I think this is a very key advantage in this industry. And as we move forward, we'll see more and more usable and accessible ways to apply.
Thank you.
Mario?
Yeah. Well, from our perspective, Eres and Yuri, we very aligned with Eres also. We do not only, as I said before, no, have this process in something over 5 minutes, less than 6 minutes. So we do within that process an understanding of user behavior. Now we have predictive analysis, and so we can reduce the churn in every stage of the funnel and increase customer satisfaction and retention. So this is all about it, and it's for lenders that are mostly very well digitized and with the majority of their loans are done on digital channels. It's very interesting how they see what we are doing, being a very young company, a very young startup, compared to them that are more than over 2 decades in best case. So they see, I would say the big daily challenges, the adoption of new, I would say, of the new listening that you are having from the customer. I would say that's and how you act, how you execute what you are seeing on your funnel. The sooner the sooner the better for the applicant in our case, no?
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you guys. It's critical to make this experience as easy, as enjoyable, if I can use that word, as possible, with as few clicks and the fewest information entered manually, because a lot of the stuff can be gleaned upon in automatic fashion. You can glean it from automated systems like SAT, or scan it from a user INE or another form of ID, and you don't have to ask them to enter their name or their CURP or any other identifying information, because a lot of them can be obtained automatically. But we're almost out of time, so I think we had a very insightful discussion on how digital tools, so specifically tax data, are transforming lending process. We hope that you found this session informative. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to both of our speakers, Mario, Eres, for sharing your expertise. And thank you for everyone who participated, and have a great day.
Yuri, if I can add one thing before, sorry, thank you for coming. We are investing a lot in education for C-level executives in Mexico this year, education around innovation and fintech, and we are doing a workshop in May dedicated for C-level in Baja California. Please reach out if you want to be part of it. We are more than happy to welcome any C-level executive coming in.
Thank you. Thank you, Eres. Thank you, Mario.